AITA for telling my little stepsister I didn't make any vows to her. My dad got remarried when I, 16F, was 9. My stepsister, 9F, was 2 at the time. My mom died and her dad bailed on her mom when she was pregnant with her and was never in her life. And never paid child support or anything. When my dad and his wife married, they wanted to do a family unity ceremony, which meant me and my stepsister would be standing there while vows were made to us, and then, as the kid who could speak, would make a vow to always be there for her, to love her and be her big sister. I passed on that. My dad was upset. His wife was even more upset because she wanted the video to show her daughter one day of me making those vows to her and holding her. The ceremony happened. They made the vows to us while I was sitting and she was being held by her mom. But I didn't make any vows. There has been an expectation set that even though I didn't say the vows, that I would be the big sister my dad's wife wanted for her daughter. The vows she wrote for me say things like, I'll always do your hair when you ask, have makeovers whenever possible, take you to the park, play dolls and climb trees with you, snuggle on the couch and always make space for you in my bed. And that's not even the whole list of what she promised from me. But she did expect that stuff and was disappointed when I didn't. Dad pushed sometimes, but not all of the time. Which I get, since he probably did want more cohesion from us and for me to make an effort to try and love her and be a sister for her. Around the age of 5, my stepsister started to get a bit more demanding with that stuff thanks to her mom and my dad a bit. She'd always want me to take her places, or always want to tag along with me, was always coming into my room, etc. It got annoying. And when I would play with her or watch a movie with her, she never wanted it to end. She'd cry and whine and her mom would try to make me keep going when I would say I needed to do my own stuff now. Dad sometimes intervened but not always. A few nights ago she came into my room when I was FaceTiming my aunt and said I needed to do her hair the way I did mine at night. She got into my laptop screen and tried to end the call. I had to do it myself, and then when I told her I wasn't doing it for her after that, she said I made vows to be her sister and was being mean by not. I told her I made no vows. She said I did and her mom showed me them. I said her mom wrote those and I never said them. She told me that wasn't true. I called her mom in and told her she needed to stop lying and tell her the truth. Dad came in and told my stepsister the 3 of them needed to talk. My stepsister was so upset by what I said, and when it was confirmed she ran off crying to her room, saying I don't love her. Dad asked me if I could console her and assure her I do love her, and I said I couldn't do that. So he went to comfort her. But his wife said I was an ass and should have played along to spare her daughter's feelings. AITA? NTA. His wife was even more upset because she wanted the video to show her daughter one day of me making those vows to her and holding her. She wanted a 9-year-old to do this so that later on it could be held over her. But you promised. Even if you had given in at that time, you could hardly be held to it now. The vows she wrote for me say things like, I'll always do your hair when you ask, have makeovers whenever possible, take you to the park, play dolls and climb trees with you, snuggle on the couch and always make space for you in my bed. And that's not even the whole list of what she promised from me. She sounds awful. That is a twisted way to look at any relationship. She really has got something wrong with her. NTA. Your stepmother has way too much expectations about sisterhood. I think it would be normal with that big age gap that the bigger sibling doesn't want play with the younger sibling all the time. And your stepmother and father have been in the wrong when they tried to force the big sister, small sister relationship to happen. These things happen naturally if you give time and space. NTA The stepmother and your father have forced you into a relationship and didn't give you a choice. Your SM lied to her daughter about the vows and expects you to do all the things she wrote in those vows, and now the daughter expects it too. Your dad is off for not bothering to defend you. NTA You have been forced into a situation you don't want to be in, and that's not okay. I would gently suggest you speak to someone professionally about this, and also have your stepsister talk to someone separately too. At the end of the day, she's 9 years old and these interactions are going to be damaging for you both in the long run. NTA Even biological sisters don't hold so many expectations for each other. NTA By trying to make you commit to this list of vows that she wrote, your father's wife has done you a huge disservice. It sounds an awful lot like she was pressuring a 9-year-old child into agreeing to sign a legal document. Now I know it's not a legally binding contract, but this lady was attempting to hold it over you as if it was. That is very toxic behavior from an adult towards a child, especially a child that has lost their mother. Your father is also to blame for not ever really standing up for you. That's literally his #1 job. Blended families are hard. They can be very challenging to make work successfully. But your father and his wife seem to have done a remarkably poor job at doing this. It's like they don't understand that you're your own person, and not just someone that lives to do the whims of your younger stepsister. They have failed you both massively. NTA I cannot stress how much I hate stepparents who try to force their way, and their children's way, into relationships with their stepkids. I'm sorry you had to experience all of that for 7 years. I'm sorry your dad and stepmom were so selfish they put their own desires and needs above yours. You are not obliged to consider anyone's feeling who don't care for your feelings. It is incredible that her mom expected you to love her daughter and wrote so demanding vows. Good that you didn't play along. It is really mean to make a child promise anything, actually. But to be a real sister, even meaner. Real sisters have boundaries. By the way, she is responsible her child's mental balance, not you. NTA Your stepsister is only 9 but you are only 16. You are not an adult and it's not your responsibility to build a cohesive and blended family. It was your parents' responsibility to nurture an environment that yours and your sister's relationship could grow, and instead of doing that they tried to force you to be a certain figure for your little sister. I'm from a large family and this perfect idea image of a big sister doesn't exist. I'm the baby in the family and my older sister wasn't expected to be any sort of figure in my life. Sometimes she would let me in her room, watch cartoons, fix my hair etc. And sometimes she wouldn't. My parents didn't teach me that I was entitled to do anything with her. So I understood my sister's boundaries. There is a 9-year age gap between me and my sister. Your stepmom sounds selfish and annoying. It kinda sounds like your stepmom has been eyeing you off as a free nanny since you were 9. That's so disturbing. I'm so sorry this is happening. Can you talk to your dad about family therapy so these issues can be resolved? Listen up. I don't think you should have come to Reddit for advice. I'm losing my mind here because you are a kid too. Really consider asking your parents to see a therapist. The feelings you are having about your little sister are valid and much more complex than just that you are or aren't in awe. I hope you see this. I wanted to say I admire your backbone so much. When I was your age I was taught to bend over backwards for others. And it makes you into a people pleaser who people don't actually like. And who can't use their voice because manipulation is all they know. It took me years and years to get out of it. But for you, I see good things because you have an excellent sense of yourself and your own needs. NTA. NTA. I can't imagine how frustrating it must be to constantly have, we're a family, rammed down your throat, and forced interactions with a much younger unrelated person. Your dad married your stepmom. She came with a daughter. So yes, you're technically stepsisters. However, that doesn't mean you need to play into your stepmother's weird fantasy of you semi-war shipping her child. I'd stick with enforcing your own boundaries. You're entitled to decide who you interact with and how that interaction looks. Plus, it's really not fair on you to insist a 9-year-old tags along with a 16-year-old. You're both at quite different stages of life and development. Your dad continuing to allow this to happen is really just going to breed resentment the longer it goes on. NTA. It sounds like a tough situation to navigate and you did the best you could. NTA. Your stepmother tried, and continues to try, to force you to view your stepsister as your sister. In doing so, she probably pushed you two apart. Your father went along with it more than he should have, but seems to have a good feel for the emotional delicacy involved. It's almost like the mother of a 2-year-old really thought emotions stayed as simple as a 2-year-old's forever. For lying to your stepsister, and not even briefing you on the lie. Your stepmother was an awe and foolish. She's ta here. NTA. Can you go away to college? NTA. Your parents are forcing a relationship that didn't come naturally. While it's not nice to take things out on kids, they don't know any better. It's understandable you have conflicting feelings on the situation and are not being heard. Just forced to preform the perfect family. While your parents are jerks for that, try to be nice to your younger step-sibling. They're annoying. But ultimately this situation is not her fault and she doesn't understand the punishment you're giving her. You're very sweet for giving her some of your time. And smart for putting up boundaries and saying no to protect your alone time. Fuck those family meetings where everyone seems to get a say except you. NTA. I'd judge differently if this were an isolated incident, but your stepmother is to blame most for creating the situation and your father is also an off for letting it come this far. Sure, you could have been less blunt, but you're a teenager yourself and didn't create the issue. NTA. The sad thing is that maybe you'd really have been sisters. But there wasn't a chance in hell with the way your stepmother pushed this.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.